Hi, everybody. Welcome in. I am WCA3 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy, and we are joining you here, bringing you live coverage here tonight as severe storms roll across parts of central Illinois. And we have got several counties here with severe thunderstorm warnings out there. We're going to be checking in with meteorologist Jacob Dickey. That is a view from his shot there. We're going to go to him here in just a second, but he has got a great view of a storm there in eastern Champaign County into Vermilion County there. We're going to go to him in a second, but we want to talk to you about what's happening here on the radar with our storms that we've got that are currently severe warned. And that is going to be, first off, our storm over here near Springfield. This one just finally coming into a town right now. This has been rather impressive to watch throughout the course of the last hour or so. It kind of came into the northwest side of town. But you've got Cass, Menard, Morgan, and Sangamon County with Springfield just about to get hit by this. As a matter of fact, we can take a look at our camera that is just bouncing around up and down there in Springfield as that storm, that line kind of comes into town there right now. Very ominous looking clouds that have been out there with that storm. That is one storm that we have that is currently severe thunderstorm warned. We are getting some new information in here. Let's take a look. Looks like another warning that is up here now into Livingston County, and that is going to be eventually kind of coming into the northwest side of Pontiac there before too long. So that's the other severe thunderstorm warned cell. But I know there's a lot of you that are watching that are saying it's storming in a lot of places here tonight, including here. Here's a cell that is south of Clinton between Maroa and east of Mount Pulaski. And then we've got some other little cells that are popping into Christian County, into Shelby County, some other activity here into portions of Edgar County, west of Paris and Chrisman. But we are watching a pretty intense little complex of storms here that have really kind of tried to get their act together. And you can see this is over into eastern Champaign County, into Vermilion County there, St. Joe to Royal, Penfield, Collison there, finding really impressive storms. And we have a view from that with meteorologist Jacob Dickey. He's positioning himself out there right now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip on his microphone and have him talk to us and tell me what he is seeing, because quite the impressive little shelf cloud there we were viewing there. And Jacob, you're positioning yourself there, and you can see those low-hanging clouds. And Jacob, tell me again, what do you got out there right now?
Yeah, hey Kevin, we're sitting here at the Fithian exit. This is 49 North. You take the exit, you go north to Rankin, or you can drop south to 136 and catch Fithian, and east of Ogden here, just under the Vermilion County side. This storm is very impressive. There's been some intense lightning. The north wind has kicked on and the outflow winds, and you can see that surging shelf cloud coming now across the interstate. It's going to be a good crosswind here on I-74, and Kevin, I have a suspicion there may be a couple of truckers in trouble before this is all said and done. Kind of back up here and pan around for you. I don't have a good way to show the whole sky. It looks a lot lighter on the camera than it actually is. It's very dark out here. Definitely some wind gusts starting to sneak on in, some intense lightning and heavy rain over here. So we're going to keep a close eye on that for the next little bit. No warning with this particular storm, but I would say, just checking radar here, there's probably going to be some 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts in there. So that's something that we're going to watch closely. Really, I think as I pan back to the left here, this area has my eye the most, where that lowering is for the strongest winds coming in here. So we've got to watch it closely and keep an eye on it, and we'll be doing so for parts of eastern Champaign County. Kevin, something else too, it might be a good idea to get onto our streaming server and make sure we're recording from this point, just to catch anything that we might be. I don't know if you're aware how to do that in Bit Central, or we can get someone in the back to do that too, but that might be helpful just to make sure here, because I think we're going to start getting a little bit of action with this particular storm that's showing some signs of intensifying here just to the east of Ogden. Reporting near the Fithian 49 North exit, I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. Kevin, I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Jacob. So there he is. He's got a nice view of the storm there, and so he's going to be following along with that. Now, that storm that he is on, as of this moment, does not have a warning associated with it. These storms are kind of they're not fully kind of got their act together. They're kind of loosely scattered there. You get an updraft that forms, and then you get another little storm there that kind of interacts with it, and it may interact with that updraft a little bit to where it's not your typical kind of storm that holds together. The one that has held together is actually the one that is out near Springfield, and that storm has definitely been able to sustain itself there and continue to bring, again, severe weather for them. That's the storm that we were just talking about, Jacob, right there. You can see there near Fithian there where he is. We can see just all the activity. So heavy rainfall and a lot of lightning. I want to go back over to our Springfield storm here because look at this thing. It has really intensified here kind of on the southwest side of town now. And so you're seeing these severe thunderstorms here, still in effect until 7:45 p.m. Now, I know we got a lot of people that are watching from all across different parts of central Illinois here tonight, so we are going to be reading your guys' messages and chats here. So if you got any reports of anything, make sure you follow along and post those in the chat there, and then that allows us to kind of see, possibly what's happening in your area. So I know a lot of people probably asking, okay, what's going to happen next here? What's kind of the next thing? Well, I want to just kind of show you the loop. I want to put a radar loop just in the last 45 minutes. Notice how some of these storms have literally just kind of popped up here. I mean, these ones here into Christian County, southern Macon County, and then we get over here to Edgar County. These are just kind of starting to get going. There's a whole cold front that's still to the north and west, and that is going to fire off storms. So I still think we could be dealing with storms after 10 o'clock here tonight. And so there's a lot of different storms that are just kind of getting going. Looks like I got a new warning that's just being issued. All right, here it is. Champaign and Vermilion. They just popped it. Champaign and Vermilion now with a severe thunderstorm warning. The cell that Jacob was on there, let's go ahead and kind of take a look at it. So that's the Springfield one. We're going to come back over. And so here it is, severe thunderstorm warning. Basically, that entire complex, they are saying that there could be gusty winds of 60 miles an hour or 1-inch size hail anywhere in this thing. So that includes Bismarck, Potomac, it includes Danville and Oakwood, St. Joe, Royal, Fithian, Penfield, all of those areas now with a severe thunderstorm warning. And as a matter of fact, we're just starting to get here at the studio a little bit of rain here as well. And so, again, brand new severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued for Champaign and Vermilion County, mainly due to 60-mile-per-hour winds. The potential for 1-inch size hail is what we've got. And so what we'll probably do here is once we want to get this warning pushed out to our social media, and then what we're going to do is go back to Jacob here, and then he's going to get us an update on what he's seeing in his location, because he's going to be pretty much right there where that storm is located and be able to pass along information to us as he's following along with that thunderstorm that has just been issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Vermilion and for Champaign County. So again, that is going to be here until 8:15 p.m. So for the next little under an hour, we have got that that is going to be in effect. So a very strong thunderstorm that is out there. There's just a lot going on with a lot of different spots there. So your weather radio might be going off. I'm actually seeing maybe some small hail that could be in there as well. There's little pockets of gusty winds in there as well. This is getting kind of on the edge of some of the radar view there, but there's even maybe, there's some winds in there just north of Fithian that we're kind of seeing. What I'm going to do here is we're going to clear this off, and then I will show you guys what it looks like in terms of the velocity on some of this. And that velocity will show us kind of what the winds are doing within the storm. And so we're going to go in a little bit closer, and then we're going to plop it. You're going to see some reds and greens kind of showing up. And you see this right there? So you can kind of see a couple different areas where there might be some winds. And so you've got, it looks like something, right here between Penfield and Potomac, some stronger winds. But then down here, again, just north of Fithian, got some of those greens kind of coming in there as well. So that storm right there is the newest severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. What I can do is kind of show you again that warning that is in effect. And then what we're going to do is go back to Jacob with his live view in just a second and see what he is seeing. So we've got that. Also, I will make mention that the storm that is up in Livingston County actually has a tornado possible tag on it. That is the one up just north of Pontiac. The severe thunderstorm warning up in Livingston County, that has a tornado possible tag associated with it. The one down here into Champaign and Vermilion County doesn't necessarily have that. So what I am also going to do is I'm going to fire up our Danville camera because we should have a pretty good view of the storm that is coming in there. So let's go ahead and pull up Danville now with our camera. Look to the west. Well, that is Springfield right now. We will get Danville to come up. Now, here comes Danville with that storm as it kind of comes in to the area. Again, hopefully our camera didn't go down there. There's been a lot of lightning with these storms. I will tell you this, the lightning with these have been really, really impressive here tonight. And there's a lot of cloud to ground lightning. So, we hope that, that hasn't caused any issues with, you can just see the lightning that's there on our camera in Springfield. But I've seen a ton of this. Each one of these storms, there's been so much instability out there that these storms are really able to kind of tap into that, and you just get some real electrified storms here, and we're definitely going to have that. So, all right, having some issues with the cameras right now. We'll get into the Danville camera here hopefully in just a second. There's a look at Jacob's shot right now. Looks like he got some heavy rainfall, and he's going to be coming into some traffic there. Looks like he's on 74. I'm going to go ahead and open up his mic and just let him talk. It's probably going to be pretty loud, but be careful there, Jacob. Got your mic on. What do you got?
Yeah, Kevin, I'm about 5 miles to the west of the Oakwood exit. I go to Oakwood and then sneak to the north. North of Oakwood, there's Oakwood Middle School. There's the old power plant up there on the river, and we may sneak that way just to sample some of the winds. At this point, I'm getting some good crosswinds here in the interstate. There's some gusts of 30 to 40 right now, pushing me around a little bit, and some heavy rain too. That is something that is also going to be a concern with these slow-moving storms here, as we see rainfall rates very intense with this storm. That's what we're seeing right now also. Visibility is very reduced, and I know that there's been a flash flood warning issued for the storm that's over in the Springfield area, because there may be several inches of rain falling in a short period of time. From what I can see here right now, we've still got lights on in some of the houses on the side of the road. It's still, there's some wind gusts here. It looks like the strongest wind to me is just north of the interstate. That's why we're going to head a little bit to the east and then jog north to try and sample some of that here. The storm running east, almost parallel to I-74 at this point, and so we'll be keeping a very close eye on things here for the next little bit. Want to mention the wind threat is going to be the big threat here. Kevin, you talked a little bit about that tornado possible that. We can't rule it out. Up there is where the tornado risk scale this morning was a 2 on a 10. They have the better chance. It is a low chance. I think at the end of today, the wind and the rain is going to be the biggest concerns with this, and we're seeing plenty of that here on this Vermilion County storm with some of these gusts now 30 to 40 miles an hour, left to right, that's north to south here. And some traffic is slowing down certainly here. One thing, at this point, we think about agriculture impacts as well. Not good for the farmers. Farmers, the corn, you can't really get much more rain for it. At this point, it's past the point where rain will help it. The beans would be good. But the other thing is that this wind is really going to potentially be damaging to the corn as well. So we're really keeping our fingers crossed we can keep that wind in check. Whether or not that happens everywhere, I don't think it will, but maybe in some spots we'll luck out while others do have some agricultural damage from these storms here in the area. Kevin, my plan here is to sneak to the east. I'll get off at Oakwood. I'll jump to the north there and then head north from Oakwood. That's generally in the direction towards Potomac and Collison and up that way. I do have the river to battle around too. There's no real river crossings for me besides 74 and 136 with the Salt Fork in this area. So we may kind of bounce back and forth in the interstate to get over towards Danville before we make any decision on what's to happen. But that's what I'm going to report here. Some good wind. Traffic slowed down a little bit. Plenty of rain, heavy rain, frequent lightning as well, especially to the north of me. Seeing lots of bolts and lots of flashes in the heavy rain here. So, Kevin, that's my report from the Storm Tracker. I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you, and we'll have another update coming up anytime. And if I see anything, Kevin, I'll pull up the camera and wave at you. That'll be a sign that I've got something worth looking at. Kevin, back to you.
All right, Jacob, thank you so much. Appreciate the report out there. Again, he's traveling along there into Vermilion County. And so that is where the severe thunderstorm warning is right now. Champaign, eastern Champaign in Vermilion County. Big broken line of thunderstorms that we've got out there. So again, here we are. It is now 7:24 p.m. as we've got just a whole cluster of thunderstorms all across the area. Little storms popping up here and there. Here it again is on radar. I said how it was starting to rain here at the station. We had this little cell that started getting going. It's kind of back building along I-74. It's like back towards St. Joe there. There's also a little cell that's over Willard Airport right now. But this whole complex here is the one that's got some winds associated with it. I know you're probably saying, okay, what direction is this thing moving? Well, they're kind of erratic storms here. And notice how they're just kind of building off of one another. I will say this. This is going to be a decent rainfall maker here in the parts of Vermilion County. And they just issued a flood warning out into Sangamon County with the storm out there near Springfield because of the slow moving nature of these storms. They dump rain, a lot of moisture, instability. I mean, the dew point today was 80 in some areas. That is tropical. So these are tropical downpours that you get when there's just so much moisture in the atmosphere. And so these are going to bring, obviously, a wind threat, but also bring a flooding threat there because these are going to just dump rain like they have been here in the portions of eastern Champaign County, say east of St. Joe there, and towards Fithian to Oakwood. A lot of heavy rainfall right along I-74. So watch for the ponding on roadways there, hydroplaning there on the interstate. All of that could be a problem. So let's show you some of these other little cells that are just getting going. You can see right now Decatur. You've got cells to your north along 51. You got cells to your south along 51, Macon over to Dalton City. Storm that's going to be coming into Argenta before too long. See, there's additional cells that have fired here west of Tolono. And then we've still got our severe thunderstorm warning cell back here in Springfield. And as I mentioned, you can see the flash flood warnings that are in effect out there as well because of the heavy rainfall. Strongest part of that storm now going to be down around the Curran area and heading towards Chatham, kind of the southwest side of town, dealing with that. And then we just kind of show you the wider view of things. I want to show you these other storms over near Quincy. Look at these that are just starting to get going, a whole line of storms there. So there are storms that are just popping up all over the place here tonight, and any of these storms have the potential to produce some severe weather. And again, let's not leave out our storm up here near Pontiac. And I'm going to try to get our cameras up here. Again, our cameras have gone down briefly for a second. I'm hopefully going to be able to pull those back up, but because we got a camera in Pontiac and then we got the camera there in Danville, we'd love to get a nice view of that. But that storm up there, notice, it's there's a little bit more of some turning in the atmosphere up there. Winds back to the southeast a little bit more, which is sometimes a little bit more conducive for maybe a tornado, which is why they have that tornado possible tag associated with it. So let's come back over here into Champaign and Vermilion County. Heavy storm there along I-74, St. Joe over to Royal, and coming into the Collison area, Fithian to Oakwood, all of that. You can see just kind of the, kind of oblong shape to the storm here. It's kind of taking on different legs. I mean, look, it's like you got back here, you got up here, you got down there. And so it's kind of this strange shape where anywhere in there you can have some strong gusty winds of upwards of 60 miles an hour. Be curious to hear if there are any reports from anybody out there. I'll briefly kind of just look at the chat window over here and see lightning. Let's see here. I'm just kind of scrolling through all of your guys' messages. Hail, north end of Danville. If you could provide a size of that hail, that would be helpful. And if you do have wind, it's getting crazy in Tilton. Let's see here. All right, again, I'm just kind of looking at all of your guys' messages. So be careful out there for sure. The wind is windy and raining there in Danville. All right, so again, if you guys have any reports, I'd love to see those in the chat. We'll be monitoring that, keeping a close eye on any of that. Just got a report of large limbs down on Denmark, 2 miles northwest of Danville. Power poles down on Poland Road in Danville. So some tree limbs down and power poles down in Danville. maybe that's why I can't get to my camera there in Danville right now. So it looks like they've got some damage over there coming in into the Danville area here with our storm that's just kind of coming in there. So anywhere within this, definitely some strong winds, and that is indicative there, obviously from the report that we're getting of some 60-mile-an-hour winds with some of the damage, so no surprise there. I'll tell you, our storm there from St. Joe to Royal looking pretty good in terms of having some very heavy rainfall, maybe some small hail associated with that as well. But again, we're getting reports now of some trees and possibly some power lines down in the Danville area. Okay, so it is just coming up here on 7:30 p.m. Severe thunderstorm warnings for Champaign and Vermilion County until 8:15. And then we've got also Livingston County here with that cell. That's got some hail. And look at that. I mean, there's something to keep an eye on, that storm up there into Pontiac. That's showing some rotation on it, and I would not be surprised if that thing, man, that's the best looking storm here in terms of a structure on radar. There is a little rotation on that, and that's going to be west of Pontiac. And so that thing has got some hail in it as well on the north side of town. Pontiac, that storm there, that's got some hail, and then you got that little appendage kind of back here. That's going to be an area that we're watching for sure. All right, we're going to go to Jacob here. All right, stand by here. I'm going to need to fire up his mic and get him on here. Jacob, looks like you are at some kind of a truck stop area over there. Jacob, what do you see right now?
Yeah, Kevin, I just want to pass on some information. First off, we're at the Love's truck stop on the north side of Oakwood, and the south side of the interstate where town is has power, but here on the north side, there's no power here at this point. And we've heard of some power lines down in Potomac and Tilton and Danville areas. So we're going to go and try and see what's going on in this area. I also want to mention, Kevin, the storm up by Pontiac. My dad is on the way towards that storm now. He's just leaving Gibson City, and I'll be checking with him, and if he's got any reports as well, we'll hear from him secondhand and whatnot. So he'll be watching that Pontiac storm move slowly to the south and to the east. One thing I want to mention, heavy rain, the lightning has been prolific with this. We have no power on the north side of the interstate in Oakwood, and there's some heavy rain here. There's a lot of ponding of water in a short period of time here too. The ditches are already filling up, and the entrance to the parking lot has been filled up pretty good too. So we're going to drive north a little bit into the core of the storm, sample it a little bit, see if we can't find something going on. Of course, we're keeping an eye on some of those damage reports, and then I think we'll probably sneak back to the east towards the Danville area here in a matter of minutes. But looks like some of these farmsteads, no power as well across parts of Vermilion County, so it will be interesting to see some of the reports of power outages here and see how things play out. At this point, trees are rocking. We've got some wind gusts of 40 to, I estimate, even up to 50 point here. Looks like that front yard to my left there, the state bird's not flying. That trampoline's still holding on, but the trees are really whipping back and forth here as they go north from Oakwood. So we're going to watch that and keep a very close eye on these storms here for the next little bit. That's what I wanted to update you with, Kevin, and I'm still listening to you as well. If you've got any more information too, or you want to direct me towards some damage, we'll both be keeping eyes on things from the studio in the field. Live in the storm tracker heading north from Oakwood, heading up towards the Oakwood Middle School. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks a lot, Jacob. Appreciate the reports out there. As you just mentioned, power outages being reported. So we're going to be checking back in with him. All right, I've got access back to our cameras here. Wow, look at this Pontiac shot right over the courthouse there. Ominous looking clouds there. Something to definitely be keeping an eye on with our storm that is up there. But I want to see if I can't go to Danville's camera here. Okay, so there we go. So there's Danville now. You can see heavy rainfall there. You can see the trees that are really kind of blowing around there in the Danville area. Still seeing power there in the downtown area, but that storm coming right into Danville here right now. Severe thunderstorm warning for you. You should definitely be inside here and taking shelter as this storm definitely packing a punch. Already had reports of damage here, and we're just getting in some new reports as well. Looks like in Tilton, power pole and transformer on fire. Power pole down, transformer on fire at the 1700 block of Washington in Tilton. So power pole and transformer down. So that's going to be there just south there of Danville there in Tilton. And you've got, again, trees, power line. You can see just the constant flashes of lightning. Now, the tree and power pole, could that be from a lightning strike? Possibly. Could it be from the winds? Possibly. But you can see just the constant lightning that is showing up here with their camera here in Danville right now. So severe thunderstorm warnings in effect here, including the city of Danville. And again, our storm here really packing a punch, as you can see it showing up right now. And again, we're going to watch that storm in Pontiac. I'm going to come back to this Pontiac camera here real quick as well, because man, that thing is coming right in to town. And let's see what the view is there. You can almost kind of see almost a greenish tint to that a little bit. That greenish tint is indicative of some very large hail in there, and the radar estimates here of probably some quarter size hail definitely showing up. And so we're going to watch that for you with our storm there. Let's see here. We'll switch back to the Danville camera because it was definitely lighting up there with all those lightning strikes. And so we'll be monitoring that. Jacob is out there following along with the storms in the storm tracker. Let's see here. Again, power lines, power poles down, Tilton area. Let's come back over to the radar here real quick, and then we'll show you what it looks like right now. And so we've got our numerous thunderstorms across the area. Oh, a brand new warning here. I just want to make mention of this. Is a new warning that just came out for DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt County. So Forsyth. And so what we'll do then here is we're going to be firing up our camera there in Decatur and try to look north there as this new warning just coming out. Severe thunderstorm warning, DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt. And that's going to be until 8:15 p.m. here, okay? So I'm going to make sure we get this out to our social media platforms, to all of our friends that are out there. I know a lot of you are watching here, but we like to post all of these to everybody out there on social media. Again, if you don't follow myself or meteorologist Jacob Dickey or also Seth, he is on there. He's our newest member of the team. Encourage you to go on there and follow all of those guys and the team here that we've got. And you always get this information because literally we're doing the live streaming, but at the same time I'm sitting here posting these graphics to the website here as well, and to Facebook and things like that. Let's kick it back over here to our camera because I want to keep showing you the Danville camera because it is just lighting up here. These lightning strikes are just kind of one after another. Again, that cell that is right there near Argenta, just kind of getting going. There's probably some strong winds there. I'm seeing some of the strongest indicators of winds there showing up between Orienta and Argenta. The Orienta-Argenta area, both of those spots there definitely seeing some intensification. All right, I'm going to switch over to our camera there in Decatur, and then I need to reposition this camera just a little bit. To kind of take a look at the storm there that again is warned. And so we'll just kind of pan up a little bit and you can see the dark skies there. You can see the storm. And so there it is. You're going to see where the sun would be. And so that's kind of more off to the west. And then we're kind of looking to the north here. Just look how dark that is and kind of seeing that area. As this kind of comes back around, we're going to get a little bit of a better view, but you can see this right there. And I'm going to take this full screen so you guys can see it even better. And you can see, look at the storm there on the north side and over Decatur there. A very strong storm. So that's going to be north of Decatur, more towards Forsyth, like I said, Argenta, Orienta. But boy, that thing right there, definitely packing a punch with it. And I'm seeing probably some 55 to, I think some 60-mile-an-hour winds in there between Argenta and Orienta. Anybody that's out there in the Argenta-Orienta area, I'd be curious as to what you are seeing because that storm there definitely looks quite strong there, and we're just going to be keeping a close eye on that. You can kind of see Oh, little area there. It's kind of hard to tell if that's, any kind of a lowering of some kind, but definitely a cloud structure that you're kind of watching with that storm there as the sun is, kind of set. And so you're getting just kind of a silhouetted, almost kind of view there of the storm, looking over downtown Decatur. Again, we're looking, 10, 15 miles to the north there with that storm that currently has a severe thunderstorm warning. Oh, boy, I got to tell you, oh, wow, the radar signature over Orienta on the west side or on the east side of town, there are some definite strong winds in there, some big time winds, I think, near Orienta. What I'm going to do here, I'm gonna bring this back over to the radar, and then to show you guys kind of why I think there are some big time winds that just went through that area. I'm gonna zoom in to this area here. Let me go ahead and take off the warning box. What you're going to see here, when I click on to the velocity, we're essentially going to look at the winds within this, and there are some really strong winds. Here we go. Here comes the velocity. And there it is right there. See those kind of bright colors of some of the pink here? And what we do is we can query, basically ask, hey, what is the radar seeing? What are these pixels talking? You can see that's a 62 mile per hour, kind of measured there from the radar. Now that's going to be shooting a little bit off of the surface there, but those winds there aloft transferring down to the ground, a definite possibility. And there's a pocket there right over kind of the east side of Orienta. Some very strong winds that are rolling through right along Highway 48 there between Argenta and Orienta. This is a very strong thunderstorm that we've got right now, and there's no doubt that there's probably damaging winds within this. We'll be curious to hear of any reports that may come in from the area, but really strong winds there between the Argenta Orienta area, and that's going to be continuing to kind of head off there to the east between Cisco and Cerro Gordo before too long. So really strong thunderstorm right there that we're looking at with the winds. Just kind of peeking back at some of the other storms. This is definitely the strongest storm. I know there's still a warning for Champaign and Vermilion County, but this storm here is definitely very strong here at this point. All right, Jacob, we're kind of losing your signal there. It's kind of coming in and out. I'll just pass along the text that I just got from him, but he says that he thinks he's got some corn that maybe looks flat there on the north side of Oakland, or is that right? Oakland? Or do you mean Oakwood? I think you might mean Oakwood. But we're going to try to check back in with him as his signal is kind of going in and out. He's in the thick of it out there with some of that weather. So again, right now, the storm that we're watching here, and we're going to have to reposition the radar. So here's what we'll do is we'll bring this back over, show you our camera view there once again of our storm over Decatur. And again, you notice a lot of the lightning showing up there. So between Argenta, Orienta, strong storm there that is going to be north and east of Forsyth. But that worst of it there, Argenta to Orienta, some hail probably associated with that. There are other storms down between Booty and Macon, Mount Zion and Dalton City, but by far the strongest storm is going to be there in the northeastern corner of Macon County. Boy, 74 right now. I would not want to be driving there on I-74 between Cisco and kind of Orienta there. All along that stretch of road there would be pretty difficult driving here in the next little bit. Let's kick it back over here, kind of show you the wide view of things. And again, I don't know if Jacob can hear us, but we don't have your TVU signal here right now. I want to go back up to our storm that is here in Pontiac. That was our storm there. That kind of had a little appendage associated with it a little bit earlier. There it is, just kind of came through. We'll take a quick glance on the camera, see what it's showing. We've got a lot of storms right now that we're watching. So we're going to try to go by each one of these, and there it is. Okay, barely kind of see the courthouse there now because that storm has come right on top of you. Let's see here. I'm just going to do some other camera views here. You may not see a whole lot here in Champaign as we're kind of looking off to the storms that are around us. Here's a view of Springfield. Storm's kind of ending there, but where we've still got activity, Danville. Let's go back to our camera view there, and there it is. You can still see the winds that are whipping around there. There is still a severe thunderstorm warning there into portions of Vermilion County. Actually, hold on. Yeah. There's still a warning here for eastern Champaign and Vermilion County. Just a ton of rain here. I got to tell you, and then just issued this, and we talked about this. They have issued a flash flood warning. This includes Royal, kind of cuts through Oakwood, definitely Danville, Potomac, Bismarck. You guys are getting some really heavy rainfall with this, and it's not going to stop here anytime soon. So these are prolific rainfall makers. I mean, the rain from these, if you just, and you know that just by being outside today, how muggy it was, how much moisture there was in the atmosphere. Now that's just getting just kind of wrung out with these storms and all of that moisture coming down. And so we've got a flooding issue. You've still got severe thunderstorms in there, gusty winds in there. And then that's just with the Danville storm. And as I mentioned, we're still watching the storm that is north and east of Decatur, Argenta, Cisco, Cerro Gordo. You guys are going to kind of be next with this. And so let's kick over to the radar once again, and we'll show you guys what it looks like because we're getting these winds kind of spreading out a little bit. So we zoom back down in here. There's some hail in there. See the purple colors. There's definitely probably some hail associated with this storm here. But see how this whole area, that pink kind of area, is kind of expanded? And so you got here along I-72. I think I said I-74 earlier. Along I-72, it would be a tough stretch of road to be on. But there between Argenta, Oriana, and along Highway 48, look how all of those winds, that whole area now, you're seeing an expansion of just how much wind is there. And that's why there is a severe thunderstorm warning. So a lot of wind coming with that storm. That's where we would have any potential damage. So I'm gonna pop back in here into the chat room here real quick. Let's see here. All right, a lot of rain. We have tree limbs falling everywhere, says Karen. If you've got any reports right now in the chat, since I'm looking at the chat right now on Facebook, if you've got reports of any damage, you've got trees down, power lines down, could you please post those in the chat right now? And I'm going to be taking a look at any of those that are coming in. A lot of trees down in the Danville area. Let's see here. Trees reported down in Potomac. Numerous trees down in Danville. Let's see here. Trees down in Catlin. All right, I'm looking at some of your guys' posts here. Again, make sure Danville, wind, lightning, thunder, tons of rain. Again, transformer fire in Potomac. We're getting transformer fire there. Again, I'm going to keep kind of watching your guys'. All right, so I'm going to try to go back to Jacob here. His signal is continuing to kind of cut in and out. He is going to be up near Bismarck, actually, and so we're going to be checking in with him as soon as we get his signal that kind of sustains itself a little bit. Oh, wow, really strong wind. Showing up now just northwest of Cerro Gordo. Oh my goodness, those are some really strong winds. North of Cerro Gordo, between Cisco and Cerro Gordo, there are very strong winds right now. That's going to be, wow, those are going to be some 70+ mile-an-hour winds potentially. Now, that's according to radar. But between Cisco and Cerro Gordo, east of Oriana, those winds there are packing a punch. These are definitely not winds to mess with. Definitely be taking shelter if you're in that area. And basically, we're looking at this right here, almost even where the radar drops out. What happens is, and I'm going to take this full for you guys. There's actually some pixels there on the radar where it actually drops out. And so these are super strong winds right in here. Okay, so there might be some damage. Okay, looks like Jacob's signal's becoming a little bit better with him. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to reposition here the radar, come back over into Vermilion County where he is located. that rain is just coming down there. Buckets of rain. Flash flood warnings are in effect. Look at some of these returns on the radar, the purple colors here. And so I'm going to try to go ahead and get a report here from Jacob. His audio and his picture may come in and out, but let's give it a shot since he's out there and see what we can get from him right now. All right, Jacob, what do you got here for us?
Hey Kevin, I am on 2600 North and 1300 East Road. If you want to find that, that's going to be Henning Road, and this road is one of those back roads that's coming. It comes up from Batestown, the Kickapoo exit there. You can take that back. I'm going to take a right here and kind of slide down the side of it here and head towards the west side of Danville now. So taking a right now, moving to the south. I cut through from Oakwood up to the north towards the old middle school north of there by the old power plant as well in Newtown, and then cut back to the east here to try and sample some of the wind. I tell you what, Kevin, some of the wind gusts were pretty impressive, but also what was impressive is the amount of flooding that I've been seeing. Roads were covered with water, and we had quite some ponding in the roadways here with the heavy rain. So we're going to sneak back to the south here at this point. There's been lots of small limbs down. We had no power in about a 4-mile stretch there from Oakwood north towards Newtown. And then just plenty of limbs down. It also did look like at points that the corn may have been thinned out a little bit in some places. Now, it doesn't have a whole lot of wind to do that. 50, 60 mile an hour is plenty. That a little more. Drive south now back towards the Kickapoo area. So Kevin, it sounds like I'm going in and out. I'm going to send it back to you, and if you want to, let me know if you think I need to sneak back towards that storm towards Tuscola. I can snake my way back that way. I'll probably try and check out some of the stuff here in the Danville area, see if we can see any damage either, and we'll just kind of make some adjustments from there and see what happens. Set ourselves up for the 10 o'clock news tonight. Kevin, reporting in the storm tracker here on the northwest side of Danville, heading south towards the Kickapoo exit on the west side of town. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Jacob. Appreciate the report there. And just in time as his shot went right away. I cannot stress this enough. There is a ton of rain with these cells. And these are slow moving, almost kind of training storms. They keep kind of back building over the same areas. These are dumping rainfall amounts here. There's going to be flash flooding. Look out on I-74. Look out for the hydroplaning, the ponding there on the roadways, because there is a lot of rainfall with this.
Text Kevin.
Okay, I want to come back over to our storm here that, from what I can tell, has some of the best winds on it. So there's the storm there over Champaign, Vermilion County there, St. Joe to Oakwood, Danville. I mean, that radar hasn't changed much. This is a tropical atmosphere, 80-degree dew points, so much moisture. This cell here, this is the one that is continuing to really, really show wind signatures with it. Coming into Cerro Gordo now. So between Cisco and Cerro Gordo, a very strong storm there. South and east of I-72 is where there's a pocket of winds there. And we can look at that again when we just pop up the velocity. Basically anywhere that pink kind of color is, those are going to be your really strong winds, 60-mile-an-hour winds there. And so we're getting that here, and there's kind of an update on the radar. Looks like they just extended this warning here to the south and east, and so this now actually covers the rest of Piatt County. And so this is going to be Bement, and then Hammond, LaPlace, all of those locations there are now going to be under this new warning as this kind of dives a little bit to the south and east, and it may interact with some of these other little cells here. But this cell here that literally is on top of Cerro Gordo right now has got some big time winds that are associated with our storm. And so, again, sorry about that. I still had Jacob on there. So we should be better off here now. Again, these storms are really intensifying, and this new warning that just came out, that includes parts of Moultrie County there, southern Piatt County, all still dealing with these really strong winds. And so you've got the storm that's over there in Danville and Oakwood. I mean, that thing is strong, but I got to tell you, the winds are most impressive with our storm here in Macon County and heading into Piatt County now. So Cerro Gordo and even Monticello, you're technically not in that warning, as you can see, but that storm is diving to the south and to the east. And that's going to be coming in there before too long. You're looking at Bement, and so Mill Mine as well. Right along 32, as you come out there of Cisco, you're going to be finding that storm. Again, that right there, those are some strong winds. I'm going to show you the loop. This is trying to kind of show you the direction that this thing is moving. And it's got a little bit of a southeasterly trajectory, which is interesting because you got kind of this storm here. It's kind of going more northeast. This one by itself kind of slightly to the south and east, and where you've got, again, those really strong winds associated with our storm there. Lots of lightning here. Getting reports of lots of trees down. No power north of Oakwood. Still getting a lot of reports of power lines. Yeah, be curious if there's been any reports of anything there. From Argenta, Orienta, Cerro Gordo to Cisco, if there are any reports of damage or anything in that area, I'd be real curious to hear about any of that, because these storms here are definitely very strong and imposing that wind damage threat that we thought all along that this could be a pretty significant wind damage event for some areas. And I think we're kind of getting some of that here tonight, these reports that are just slowly kind of coming into us here. So the newest warning in effect here for Piatt and portions of Macon and Moultrie County. That's the latest that we've got here with all of this activity. Severe thunderstorm warnings in effect in several locations here tonight. It is 7:55 p.m. right now, and these storms are not going to be done here anytime soon. I want to stress the flooding aspect of this as well. We've got flooding that is absolutely ongoing out there. Jacob's been driving in some of it, and just by looking at some of the radar estimates here, these storms are tapping into just a ton of moisture out there, and they are producing significant rainfall amounts out there here tonight. So be careful if you are out and about here this evening. Let's see here. I'm going to pop back over to our chat here. Limbs falling in Catlin. Let's see here. All right, lots of lightning out there again. Any significant reports? There's a lot of things going on in the chat room over there. If you got any significant reports, please pass those along. But my goodness, the amount of heavy rainfall here is just impressive. I mean, these purple colors, these are just absolute driving downpours here. St. Joe along I-74 and 150, that whole area, Royal, Fithian, Oakwood. I mean, that is constant heavy rain that is falling. Let's come back over. Let's see here. I will pull up our Danville camera. Hopefully we still have access to it. And yep, there it is. Oh, it looks like maybe the power is out there for a second, because it looks like the lights had flashed there. Maybe some of the street lights there. Maybe that could have been the lightning. Maybe that caused that. But we'll be watching that. So we'll keep an eye on our Danville camera there right now. Constant lightning showing up. Okay. Sort of watching that here. So, okay, so let's see here. Wind damage report in Tilton. Power poles down. Transformer on fire near the 1700 block of Washington Road, is what we were being told there. Let me see here if I can pull up. There's a camera that I can pull up there. If you give me a second. I'm going to see if it is still up and streaming. There's a Village of Tilton camera that is located there. and probably pull that up and see what we've got. Looks like maybe the traffic lights there are in, and again, I'm not familiar exactly, but you can see the flashing of the lights here, and I'm going to have to adjust this to be able to get you guys the full view of things. But that is a look at Tilton. Stand by here as I kind of show you here. This is a live streaming camera that is there. Oh, there we go. Looks like, okay, looks like they're back to their regular. We were noticing there for a second, there was the flashing yellow light there associated with the camera. You can just see, look at the driving, the real like kind of heavy rainfall. It's kind of coming across there in Tilton right now. Getting that report of a power line and transformer down. Oh, that must be, it's the turn lane flash. That's what I was seeing. There's the left the turn arrow there. So that's Tilton camera view there that is showing us the very heavy rainfall. Got a lot of reports of trees, power lines down in the Vermilion County area here tonight. Jacob says that he's about 2 minutes away from that transfer. We may get a report from him on that. Just be careful, just that really heavy rainfall that continues to fall. Okay, let's bring it back over to our Danville camera here again. Pop that up. A lot of lightning there, and the heavy rainfall is continuing over into the Danville area right now. So we've got a lot of activity here for us. Again, be real curious about any reports of damage or anything over in the Argenta, Orienta, Cisco to Cerro Gordo area as that storm continues to kind of dive to the south and east. Cerro Gordo now probably getting in on some of those winds. But that storm there definitely has had some of the best wind signatures with it, which is why the severe thunderstorm warning continues out there. So trees down in Catlin, you got the power pole transformer down there in Tilton, other reports around the Danville area as well, with wind reports, wind damage there, power lines and trees. And you can see the constant lightning there, and the rain is still coming down. So let's kick things back over to our radar view here. And we'll show you that view once again. Here it comes. Still a lot of different thunderstorms here. Well, let's do a quick little radar tour. Here's that flood warning, flash flood warning that's still in effect out here for the Springfield area, as they got some heavy rainfall and back towards Ashland. So some other little cells here, none of those are severe. Broken line little cells there into Christian County, and then the strongest cell here that we've been watching coming into Piatt County now. Cerro Gordo, Macon, Piatt County, severe thunderstorm warning until 8:15 p.m. And then you've got these other little cells here that are kind of lined up. None of these severe from Bourbon to west of Tuscola, Villa Grove, and east of Posodum. But then you get up here, and these are still just absolutely going gangbusters. Again, there's also a flash flood warning with our Champaign or more the Vermilion County area. There may be eastern, northeastern Champaign County still with that flash flood warning, but just the amount of heavy rain that is falling out there right now. I mean, this is quite a bit. I got a bad feeling that we're going to start to have some issues here, some real issues here before too long, because that's a lot of heavy rainfall kind of moving over the same areas. And so that's going to be right along I-74 where that is occurring right now. Oakwood to St. Joe, that whole stretch of road, and then north from Royal to Collison. You guys have just been getting pounded with heavy rainfall here for the last hour and a half or so, and it is continuing. So let's just kind of show you. I'll show you. Let's do a 1 hour loop. I'm going to shut off the warnings here on this so we can just kind of take a look at the radar view and put the loop on this, and notice how these areas, that's 1 hour. That's 1 hour of constant rain. It has not stopped raining in some areas for over an hour. And then notice how it's kind of building back here to the south and west. And so there's more rain that's going to be moving in here. So some very, very strong gusty winds that are showing up. Jacob's in the Danville area here right now. And since we've got a good signal with him, we'll go ahead and pull him in here and talk to him right now. All right, Jacob, you're in Danville. What are you seeing out there right now?
Hey Kevin, there is plenty of water ponding on the roadways here. It seems like, from my vantage point, that the heaviest rain, again, west of town, like you've been talking about also, but still, we went through several areas that had some water coming onto the edge of the roads and even in some spots over the roadways, and they've been getting some real heavy rain. The rain more moderate in intensity here now. I'm going south on Route 1 to catch back up to the interstate, and I'm going to stop there and do a little bit of assessment of what I want to do here for the rest of the night. And that may very well be to turn back to the west towards Oakwood and St. Joe and see what's going on over there. Lights are on here in Danville. There's been some rain, there's been some lightning, but it seems like the worst of the storm maybe is just west of town, off towards the Oakwood area, towards St. Joe, especially with the rain here. And seeing that sign of just storms nearly stalling out is very concerning and very ominous with the flooding potential here. We were hoping that front would come through and push storms right along, and that has not been the case, which is making this flood threat all that much more greater here as we continue to watch these storms push on through. Still, though, can't discount that wind threat. We're watching that, and we'll continue to monitor. I haven't seen any reports, Kevin, coming to me. I do know that my dad is out in the Forest area. Keep an eye on that storm up north, and then I'm here in the Danville area, and we'll think about probably sneaking back to the west a little bit, maybe even slipping south to Tilton here just a few minutes from that. I'm not able to figure out where that location is that you mentioned. Not really able to figure out exactly where that spot is, but we're going to try and head down to Tilton and then do a little bit of assessing here and see what's going on before we sneak back on to the west. Currently now it is what time is it? Checking my watch here. About 8:05, and the night is still young for these storms here. We've got still plenty of hours left of rain and storms moving on through, and we'll be watching here and keeping a close eye on things now, and slipping as those storms slowly slip to the east and to the south. All right, Kevin, that is going to be my report. I have just crossed Interstate 74, heading south towards Tilton, see if we can't find anything, and then I might sneak back towards Catlin. One observation, Kevin, to me, it appears that the lightning has maybe toned down a little bit. Here it's maybe not as intense, and that's something that's perhaps a good sign. It looks like the worst of the lightning, the most intense lightning, that's often a sign for these stronger storms, is to my west, still towards St. Joe and Oakwood, and even a little bit more south of me also. So we're going to keep an eye on all of this, Kevin, and then if you want to share a little advice on what you think here, I don't have any access to the chat, so just whatever you think I need to do, just let me know and we'll get it done for you, Kevin. Live in the storm tracker here, now moving towards Tilton, south of Danville. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We'll send it back to you, Kevin.
Okay, there we go. Appreciate it. And this time we did shut your mic off this time, so there we go. Thank you for the report there. There he is. Here's what I'm going to do, Jacob, since you're just listening there. I'm going to read off some of the different various reports and things that we're getting here. Just got a report of law enforcement reporting trees down in Kickapoo State Park. So Kickapoo State Park has trees down. Potomac has tree and power pole down and on fire near the 100 block of Grant Street. That's Potomac. Let's see here. What else do we got? Multiple trees and power lines down in Highland Park and Murray Clark Roads, just southeast of Danville. So I don't know. I'm not sure how close you are to that. Multiple trees and power lines down Highland Park and Murray Clark Roads. Let me see here. Highland Park, Danville. Highland Park Road. So that's going to be, okay, Highland Park and Murray is, yeah, that's southeast of Tilton. Yeah, so that's southeast of Tilton. So I don't know how close you are to there, Jacob, but if there's multiple trees and power lines down, it's going to be Murray Clark Road and Highland Park Road. And here, I'm going to even try to zoom in on it on my radar here. So let's come over here to Tilton and see. So I pull this up. Those Highland roads should come up here. I see, there it is right there. So it's going to be right in this area here. Highland Park Road and Murray Clark Road. So it's going to be here. It looks like that's a report that we're getting. southeast of Tilton, almost just east of Belgium, is where Highland Park Road and Murray Clark Road is located. And so if there's a suggestion for you, Jacob, if you're in that area, okay, I think he said he might be just a couple minutes away. So we'll go back to him here. Again, that's going to be just southeast of Tilton, and we'll check in with him in just a little bit because that's where there have been some reports of multiple trees, power lines down. So we'll see what we've got. Just going through and reading all of this. A lot of reports are kind of coming in here now. So just a lot of information here. I will say this, just kind of recap everything here for you, kind of back things out, kind of show you what's going on here on the radar. We've got broken lines of thunderstorms here, you know, stretching here into Piatt County where they're a really strong storm, and then it is just still raining here in the same spots into eastern Champaign and into Vermilion County. There's some heavy rainfall there, ponding of roadways. Hydroplaning, a definite issue there, and flash flooding, where we've got, again, some very, very strong winds associated with these storms. And they just kind of keep coming, training over the same areas here. And so that's what we're looking at. I'm going to come back into our storm here into Piatt County, where we were looking at some pretty intense winds a little bit earlier. And I just want to see if we're still dealing with some of those strong winds. Looks like Atwood now. Atwood, you guys have kind of the strongest storm over you. And we're going to look at that when we pull up the velocity, see the kind of those pink colors that are associated with the velocity on the radar. That's going to be where the strongest winds are right now, as it just kind of updates there. And so right there, Atwood, you probably have some 50 to 60 mile an hour winds with that storm as it's crossing there on US 36, going to be west of Tuscola there, as that kind of dives more to the south and east. So you may have some of those winds there between Tuscola and Arcola here before too long as well. So that is an area where we continue to have a severe thunderstorm warning with ourselves there. And then we come back here into southeastern Champaign County, to St. Joe, and then into Oakwood and into Danville there. Some really heavy rainfall, and we had some of those strong winds earlier. Still, you know, there's still potential there for some gusty winds, but Catlin, Tilton, Danville, let's see here, power poles down, Poland Road in Danville, Denmark Road in Danville. That's kind of on the north side. And then, as I mentioned, there in Tilton, Catlin, and then southeast of Tilton there, where Jacob, I think he's coming up to something here. So let's see here. I'm gonna plop up. Well, we just lost his signal there, so it's kind of coming in and out a little bit. I see flashing lights from where he is located, so he's going to be coming in there right now. And I'm going to switch on his mic and let him describe what he is seeing. Hold on here. You're going to get your mic turned on. And Jacob, what do you got?
Hey Kevin, we are at Highland Park Road and Murray Clark Road here, and the intersection is blocked here. The Highland Park Road goes back to the west. I'm looking southbound now. We got Vermilion County Sheriff on scene and some power crews there. I can see some lines down in front of me. I don't know if you can see them very well. The camera shot just to the right of the squad car underneath that stop sign is where some of those lines are sitting. Hard to see further beyond that, but there's some lines hanging also. Looks like just above that power truck, and so they've got this road blocked off for some of these lines that are down in the area, and so power is out in this neighborhood. Lights are off, seeing some emergency lights and some security lights, but that's about it here. And so we're going to keep see if we can't find out some more and get a little closer look at some point here. But as expected, here's some of that damage that's showing up here. Wish I could get you a closer look with the camera, but I think the sheriff's going to turn me around and direct me a different way. But this area is not passable on the Highland Park Road and Murray Clark Road area here. The Highland Park Road east-westward actually jogs about a quarter mile, and so it's right in that little middle section that it looks to be here. Again, we're just on the southeast side of Danville, about 2 miles east of 150 and Route 1. And going to be 2 miles east of Tilton, where some of these lines are down here, kind of on the river. In fact, the river is just to my east by a little bit. So this is one of those areas of damage with some lines down, some power outages here. So far, the rain now light. That's good news. As we see these storms start to move to the south and east more, we may see that rain and thunder pick on up because there's plenty more of that, looks like, to our west from this location. So, Kevin, that's one of these spots of damage. I might get out and see if I can't get a picture or two and send them back your way, but I'm not sure I'll have too much luck. It doesn't look too safe to do so at this point, so we may just be better off holding tight here and just kind of turning around and heading back that way. So that's what I've got for you, Kevin, and I'll talk to the officer up here, see if they've got anything else for us, and then we'll see what we can do. Live at the storm tracker here, just to the east of Tilton in Vermilion County, where some power lines are down and some trees also reported down in this neighborhood. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Jacob. Again, that is the view there, southeast there of Danville, where we have got reports of power lines and trees down, and that's Jacob. That's right there on top of that situation, checking it out for us. He's going to have to maneuver around. It's obviously, dangerous at night to attempt these operations here with power lines down. You can't always see those, and so the same goes for you. You shouldn't be, walking around outside in the dark where those power lines could be down, and electrocution definitely a thing. So just kind of keep that in mind because there's probably multiple areas that have these power lines down. We'll check the Ameren map here in a little bit to kind of see what's going on there. But you can see that heavy rainfall that is continuing to move across. Come across the area, the same spots just getting hit with that heavy rainfall, and so you've got the flooding aspect of things. That's still a major issue with this, with flash flood warnings that are in effect. Let's see, just kind of back things out again and show you kind of the wider view of all of this. Put the loop on it, and you can see how all of these storms are continuing to kind of move almost east to slightly southeast, but these same areas here in Vermilion County just getting the heavy rainfall one after another. No longer in effect is the severe thunderstorm warning for Champaign and Vermilion County, as that has been allowed to expire. So the only warning that we have left is going to be the one here into Piatt County. That's actually now heading into northwestern. Actually, hold on here. They just repopped. So they've repopped the severe thunderstorm warning. You're going to see it. Now, there it is now. They've just kind of refined it a little bit. And so the severe thunderstorm warning is still in effect for Champaign and Vermilion County, just getting reissued here. So there it is. So it kind of goes right along the county line there. Champaign, Vermilion, Edgar County there. So you got Ridge Farm, Georgetown, Seidel, Fairmount, St. Joe, to Danville, all under this severe thunderstorm warning. The Broadlands area even. Sydney, Philo, it's right there on the east side of it. Homer, Fithian, still in Royal there, Collison. All of those locations still under this new severe thunderstorm warning that has been reissued. And then our other warning here, as I mentioned, coming down here into Piatt County, but now the storm is it's still packing a pretty good little punch there near Oakwood, coming to Douglas County now. So they've not carried that warning on because I guess maybe they haven't had any reports or anything. We've had constant reports here of damage in the Vermilion County area, from Danville to Tilton to Bismarck. Several reports in the Bismarck area of trees down over there in Bismarck. Multiple trees down in Bismarck, we're being told. All right, so they just, as soon as I mentioned them not continuing that warning into Douglas County, they have just now repopped warning, and they're extended it at least into Douglas County. So that's probably going to cover Oakwood and Tuscola is my guess. We'll have to wait for it to populate on our radar, and there it is. And just as I mentioned, covering Oakwood and Tuscola, Camargo to Newman, in the Hinesboro area, and even Arcola as that cell slides to the south and east. And again, still indications on radar that there are some strong winds associated with that storm there into east of Atwood now. So that's going to be coming into Tuscola. If you're in Tuscola, you're probably getting some strong winds that are knocking on your doorstep here right now. I'm also seeing a little area near Hammond, and I'll back this out just a little bit. Here's what we'll do is, once again, I want to clear off for you the little warning box here, and then I'm going to switch on the velocity, which will show us some of these winds, because there's two areas here of winds that I'm seeing, and we're going to look for those brighter pinks, okay? And so here's what we've got. And so you've got kind of two areas. See this right here west of Hammond, and then some of this right here between Atwood and Tuscola. That's your strong little bank of winds. And so there's a real little kind of finite area there near Hammond. And so I'm going to zoom in on that just a little bit more, move our little scope over a little bit, because if we look at that little area and then we plot on here and ask, hey, what are the winds that you're seeing in there? And then it's showing some 62-mile-an-hour wind gusts potentially. Now that's the radar shooting a little bit off of the surface, but those winds can sometimes get translated back down to the surface, and so that's at least what you're dealing with out there here right now. So some really strong winds there, possibly into Hammond, and then also coming in to Tuscola now. It's right over the old chicken bristle area. You guys have got that storm right on top of you. Ficklin there, probably seeing those gusty winds. And so what I'll do here, I know we've got a lot of people that are down and watching us down in that area. Okay. So again, this area down here into Douglas County now carrying on this new severe thunderstorm warning with it as the storm moves into the northwest part of the county. This is where we've had some really strong winds show up on radar. I was kind of surprised not to hear more reports, and maybe it was just more into rural areas. But when this was kind of coming through Argento, Oriana, Cisco to Cerro Gordo, haven't heard any specific reports out of that area. So if there are any, let us know. Let's see here. Again, Oakwood. Let's see here. We're starting to get some more reports coming into us here. Oakwood, we talked about Kickapoo State Park. That's got trees down. Trees down Bismarck. We mentioned that a few times. And yeah, there are multiple new warnings here in effect. So kind of get you a little bit of a description of all of these different warnings that we've got. And we're going to let the new radar sweep kind of come right across. And that's what we've got now. And you can see almost an arcing line of storms here that stretches from Piatt into Douglas County, and then it kind of curves back up into southeastern Champaign County, and then into Vermilion County. That's where our warnings are currently in effect. So when I come over here and I just take the radar, I'm just going to shut the radar off so you can kind of see where exactly those warnings are. So stand by here as I switch off all the different radar products. And so these are the areas currently under severe thunderstorm warnings. And so really kind of Atwood to Arthur is an area, and then back here we talked about Hammond, Tuscola, and then this kind of goes along 36, and then kind of comes back up here, as I mentioned, the Broadlands area, and into a good chunk of Vermilion County. Those are your severe thunderstorm warned areas. If you are in any of these orange areas here right now, you're under a warning. Should be taking shelter, should be inside. Just be on the lookout for these storms that have already produced tree damage, power line damage, and these storms are ongoing, and they are dumping, and I mean absolutely dumping the heavy rainfall out there. And then there's just constant lightning with these storms as well. And that's what you're seeing on our camera here in Danville as the rain continues and the lightning continues to flash out there for us here tonight. So definitely be careful out there tonight. This is a noisy night for many. And let's see here. Looks like Jacob is coming up on some other activity there. I don't know if he can hear me again here, but I'm going to plop Jacob back up here and see if he can talk to us again and let me know. Okay, so he might have popped out of the vehicle there. And so what we'll do is let him, I think he's probably trying to get some pictures and video for us. So this, obviously, this is his live view from the storm tracker. Sometimes it'll become a little pixelated and you can't see it as well, but you can kind of see there's a fire truck. Again, this is over kind of the southeast of Danville there in Tilton. We talked about some reports of some power lines that were down in that area over there. Okay, so severe, all right, just getting some more trees and power lines down in Armstrong. So it really looks like Vermilion County took a pretty good hit from all this in many different cities there. We've had reports of Oakwood, of trees and power lines down. Catlin has had them. Tilton has had them. Danville has had them. Up towards Bismarck, they've had them. So Vermilion County, as of right now, definitely seeing the vast majority of the damage here so far from these storms and the reports that we are getting in. A lot of times this, it takes a while. It is nighttime, so you're not always going to get the full kind of reports of everything kind of coming in. So there's a delay a lot of times, especially in some of the rural areas, and so you don't hear about it until even sometimes the next day here. But according to some of the radar views that we've had, I definitely think you're going to start to pick up and hear more about some damage maybe out into rural portions of Piatt County, maybe into eastern Macon County there from the earlier storms. But still right now, our storm here coming into Tuscola, strong thunderstorm there, indicating some winds between Hammond and Atwood, and this whole kind of thing getting kind of elongated and stretched out here and running into southern Champaign County. Okay, it looks like Jacob is back with us here, so we're gonna throw him back on since he is now back in the truck. And Jacob, I will let you take it away.
Hey Kevin, we made it to that spot, Highland Park and Murray Clark Road here. This is even in front of us. We've got Westville Fire and the Vermilion County Sheriff's here on scene. There's also a power truck. I talked to the neighbor here at the intersection, and here at the corner, she told me, she said that there was about 8 o'clock and they heard the big boom of the tree coming down. The tree is around the corner, but the lines are down on the east-west road, and that east-west road is the Highland Park Road here. The north-south one is Murray Clark Road, so the road is shut down. Folks are not able to get on through here. Even though it looks like some folks are trying, the road closed in this area. This is one of numerous scenes in the county right now that we know about. Folks are, of course, with the damage, getting reports in and whatnot. We've heard from Potomac, we've heard from other places like that. This is one of those spots where they've had their hands full here through the night. So that's what's going on here at this location. I do have some video that is making its way to Latitude. It will take some time to get there, but we will get that video up here shortly. And we've got our reporters heading east. That may change, but of course, we're getting set up as well to have live updates on the newscast coming up at 9 on WCIX and 10 o'clock on WCIA. This road here, again, Highland Park and Murray Clark Road, where I'm at. Looks like a couple of lines down. There's a big tree on the east-west road around the corner from the house. I can't get a good view of it. Tried to get a good view of it here from the my cell phone and get a little video back, and that may take a little bit of time sneaking on back. So that's what we've got going on here. Still, a number of warnings out there. We've got that flash flood warning here as well. The rain is coming down pretty good here. Pretty steady clip in this area, and looks like it's going to do that for a while. We've heard a couple of big thunder boomers as well, but it looks like at this point perhaps the wind has cleared. Still here, Kevin's ready. He just stopped feeling. We're exiting.
All right, looks like we lost his signal there again as he was kind of repositioning, and that's just kind of the nature of things out there. He is still in the middle of a big, huge thunderstorm right now, and so we'll lose the signal from time to time. Okay, so if anybody back in the newsroom is listening here right now to the coverage, I know you're trying to direct some people on where to go, and so I'm going to throw out some different options here for you because there's a bunch of reports that are like slowly starting to kind of come in. And there's a new warning just got issued for Coles, Douglas, Moultrie, and Shelby. But I know you guys are attempting to try to go find some of that damage out there. And so Argenta, there's reports of a tree power line down there, but Vermilion County has got quite a bit. So Jacob was out near kind of southeast there of Tilton, but there are reports of trees down in Bismarck. There are power poles down on Poland Road in Danville. That's kind of out by the airport, kind of just southwest of the airport. And then, let's see here, limbs down on Denmark Road. So if you're wanting to try to send somebody out there, I would send them up towards Denmark Road or Poland Road, and that's going to be on the north side of Danville, where reports of trees and power lines are down. That's going to be the more centralized area where I think you'll be able to get something up there. So I would go to Danville and try to find some stuff there. Again, the other option is we've heard some stuff Argenta. Some of those reports coming in a little bit slower to us, but also Bismarck has trees down there. And so there's a lot of activity here and a lot of reports still kind of coming into us. And the big thing too, also, I just want to continue to stress is just how heavy some of this rainfall has been. To be careful out there on those roads because of the radar estimator. And I'm just going to pull this because I'm pulling up on my phone a little bit quicker than I can with our system here. But I want to look at the storm total rainfall with some of this activity. And oh my goodness, Royal. Boy, over the Royal area, I mean, indications, I mean, if this is right, I mean, my goodness, I'm going to try to pull this up, but over the Royal area, the possibility of 4 inches of rain, now this is radar estimated, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to pull this up here. It may take me a second to do so, but we're going to try to pull up some of this. You got a report there? Well, make some calls and whatnot. Is the newsroom on top of any of this over there?
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's multiple reports, trees down in Danville and in Bismarck, and in Argenta, in Tilton, Catlin, take your pick, call around, see what you can find. Social media, online, reports from the Vermilion County Sheriff's Office, things like that. Flooding in Royal probably is a definite thing because they've had a ton of rainfall here. So it's kind of getting a little bit about behind the scenes of things here because we talk to our web folks and whatnot as they do their thing. So again, there's sometimes 100 things you're trying to do here at once. But here's what I want to try to do for you guys. I want to show you this incredible potential rainfall estimate. The radar tries to kind of estimate just how much rain has fallen. I want to come over here to Royal, where here in a second, I'm going to switch our radar over to rainfall estimate. So bear with me here for a second. Shut off all these radars here. Let's see what we can get to pop up. We want to do precipitation, observed precipitation. We're going to have to shut off the doing this live on the air with you guys, but we're gonna get it to work. We're gonna shut off all these warnings so we can kind of get an idea. So this actually might be filtering it a little bit better for us. So let's do observe precipitation. Now this is going to be over the past 6 hours here, and let this kind of pop up. And so you can kind of see the areas here in Vermilion County, and I'm going to change basically the colors table that we use. It kind of shows a little better idea. But it also looks like an area there, Georgetown, getting quite a bit. But Royal there, east of Royal to Collison. Let's see here, and if we can come on and click on this, see what some of the amounts are showing. So yeah, there's 3.6 inches. So anywhere between Royal, Collison, north of Fithian to Oakwood, radar estimating 3.5 to 4 inches of rain in this area. And this is where that flash flood warning is in effect. So that's a ton of rainfall, and a lot of this falling over just the past couple of hours here, and it is still raining in some of these locations. So that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of the heavy rainfall that we've got out there. So tons of rain. And sometimes the radar can overestimate when it comes to potentially hail. That's what that product does. So anybody that uses that storm total rainfall, sometimes that can be overestimated due to the potential for hail in there sometimes. So just kind of keep that in mind too when you're looking at some of those reports. Okay, just kind of glancing at some of your guys' reports over here in the chat. We're keeping an eye on that for you here tonight. It is 8:34 p.m. We've been streaming here for the past 90 minutes or so. Still just kind of monitoring things here as they kind of come down, as these reports slowly kind of trickle in. A lot of wind damage reports showing up in the Vermilion County area. And we can show you all of those different reports. What I'll do here again is we'll switch off the little warning box. We will switch on all of the storm reports, and they're going to be quite a few. You can see all these little boxes here, or these little round, these circles here, showing all of the different reports. And so what we can do is we can click on a bunch of these and just kind of see what they say. So here's one from Potomac. Tree and power pole down on fire near the 100 block of Grant Street. That was at 7:12 p.m. That was forever ago now. But that was one of the first initial reports that we did receive. Here's Bismarck. Bismarck had a report of trees down. That was a 7:22 p.m. report. Here's another report here. It's going to be north side of Danville. Power poles down on Poland Road in Danville. That was at 7:35. So that's when these storms were just kind of getting going in there. That's the other one there that's just south of that. I believe that's the Denmark Road one. Denmark Road, large limbs down in that area. We'll come back down here to northeast of Oakwood, and that's where tree damage and 3/4 inch size hail in Kickapoo State Park. So Kickapoo State Park dealing with some tree damage. We'll come back down here towards Tilton. That report, power poles down, transformer fire, 1700 block of Washington Road. That was also at 7:30. So a lot of these reports actually were from the initial push of these storms as they came through. And then there's trees down, just a general report of trees down in Catlin at 7:40 p.m. Okay, so those are just a few of them. You can see how a lot of those are clustered there into Vermilion County. And the only other one that we've got is the one here in Argenta. Let me click on that guy. And the Argenta one says power lines down and tree down in Argenta. It was a 7:45 p.m. report. So not a lot of reports here in the last 45 minutes or so, but still the potential is there, and sometimes these reports seem to lag. Maybe a slight weakening of some of the storms here into Douglas County. Let me just take a glance at some of the, well, there's still some winds in there between Arthur and Bourbon, so I take that back. Still some strong winds down there between Arthur and Bourbon. Chesterville, we'll zoom in a little bit closer there, and what we can do is kind of show you what I mean by that when we just look at the velocity on this again. And so there's a look at those winds, that pink colored area is what we look for. So Arcola, maybe you get in on some of this here before too long, but now south of Atwood to Arcola, east of Lovington, possibly still dealing with some damaging winds in that area there. Clear that off, bring things back out just a little bit more, and we will put things into motion here for you. Jacob is going to be moving south from Danville now, see what he can counter down there. Just still a ton of rain that continues to fall in southern portions of Vermilion County. A lot of heavy rainfall there, folks, so please take it easy. Those roadways will become impassable in some areas. The flash flooding, the ponding of the roadways, the hydroplaning aspect of all of this. And again, that you can just see how that rain is not stopping here. It's still going. And So there we go. Okay. All right. So just again monitoring some of the chat comments here. We're in connection with the Weather Service. Just seeing any other reports coming into us. The Storm Prediction Center did a new mesoscale. Isolated wind and hail threat still through 10, 11 o'clock here tonight will be possible. Getting some pictures in here from actually near Thomasboro from storms earlier tonight, it looks like. So I'll be checking out some of that. A lot of lightning with these storms here. There's a look at Jacob Shot there again as he makes his way through Danville. We'll be checking back in with him here in just a little bit. Again, I'm just kind of sifting through some of the different reports. We've got some north of Thomasboro. I got some pictures in of some tree damage down there. So again, things calming down for some, still pretty active for others. Looks like if you're actually in Danville itself, things may be not as heavy as it once was, but you get southwest of that and still coming down there, Jamaica, Homer, Broadlands area, Slidell, all seeing still that heavy rainfall. And then down towards Chrisman and into Douglas County. Curious to see what they do as far as any additional warnings go, but there's still at least that potential for some 60-mile-an-hour winds in there. You got the heavy rainfall. Again, coming into Chesterville, if I'm looking at the radar and I'm just still kind of seeing those radar signatures showing the best winds there, probably coming into right here. Our cell that's actually right here, Arthur. I know it doesn't look too ominous there when you look at the reflectivity, but when we click on and show the velocity, you can still see that little pocket of stronger winds. They're just coming into Chesterville along 133. So right about here is where you've got your strong winds, where these little pink colors are. And where you'd have the potential to have some 60-mile-an-hour winds within that cell there. And that is continuing to dive to the south and east. So we put the loop on that. And maybe even building a little bit more towards Arcola. So Arcola, you may get in on some of that here before too long. But a lot of broken thunderstorms here. Here's Iroquois County getting in on some of these thunderstorms. Nothing severe up there right now. Vermilion County, on the southern portion of Vermilion County, is still seeing that very heavy rainfall. So is St. Joe. And look at these storms here. Champaign, it's almost like these storms are forming kind of just east of Champaign, and they keep kind of getting going. We had some storms earlier, but the heaviest stuff definitely has largely kind of missed the Champaign-Urbana area, especially compared to some of the other spots, just 10 miles to the east. So we'll see if that changes. These may start to back build a little bit more and eventually get Champaign. But some of the heaviest stuff has definitely missed the Champaign-Urbana area, especially when you compare it here to these areas just to the east that continue to get just pounded with heavy rainfall. Just so somebody report here about they're in Danville, Country West. Danville, 4.5 inches of rain so far, still raining. So the severe thunderstorm watch continues until 10 p.m. tonight, so an hour and 15 minutes still of this watch that is going to be in effect. Again, we've been going for about an hour and 45 minutes on the live stream here. Jacob out in the storm tracker and making his way around. A lot of reports again have come to us there into Vermilion County of some of the damage. Not heard too many other spots that have had anything, but to Vermilion County definitely. Seems like a lot of trees and power lines down as the storms kind of initially kind of came through there. Matter of fact, I may just kind of back the radar up a little bit, see if we can't kind of look at the initial kind of push of these storms. So that's a look at around 6:37 p.m. and we actually didn't have a whole lot going on. And then look what happened here. And we're just going to step this forward so you can see the clock at the top on the banner. So right about there at 7 o'clock is when things started to kind of get their act together with these storms. And then watch the explosion of these that happened right there between St. Joe and Oakwood. And then that storm as it kind of came in to Danville there, and there it is, that's 7:18 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. and then just a lot of activity right there, one after another. Strong storms that just exploded over Vermilion County there in eastern Champaign County and continue to do so there. And that's now 8:45, so you can see there from, it hasn't stopped raining in some areas for the past hour and 45 minutes or so. So that's why there's just so much of an issue with the flooding aspect of things right now. And then on top of that, the wind damage that we did receive from those storms as they came through a little bit earlier. And as we kind of show you the wide view of things, there's a broken area there where there's not much going on in, say, DeWitt County and Logan County. Christian County, you've been largely left out of this, and even things a little bit calmer there in Macon County, a little settled down there probably towards Long Creek, east of Mount Zion. But the strongest stuff is still here into Douglas County right now, between Tuscola and Arcola, and then our storms here that continue to roll through portions of Vermilion County, where again, I've been keeping an eye on our camera view that is here into Danville. That continues to show some lightning strikes showing up there with our storms. So 8:46 p.m. severe thunderstorm warnings continue for Coles and Douglas and Moultrie County. As I mentioned, probably one of the strongest storms that we've got is that one. You're just dealing with more heavy rainfall there in Vermilion County and maybe some gusty winds, but if we just look at what the radar is showing, the radar indications are that the storm down here that is warned until 9 p.m. into Coles, Douglas, Moultrie, Piatt counties here as the strongest, and more into Douglas County more than anything here right now, with this little strong batch there, and probably coming into Arcola before too long. So Arcola, you may get some gusty winds with this, as that storm is literally knocking on your doorstep there as we speak. And between Bourbon and Chesterville, some strong winds there. And going to be crossing Highway 45 and I-57 before too long as well. So all of those storms are continuing to move across with those warnings that are in effect here until 9 p.m. Oh, like a minute. Perfect. So talking to our producers here for the 9 and 10 o'clock newscast as we prepare to get you full coverage here of these storms as they've moved across the area. Looks like we got a new warning here. New warning just got issued up here into Iroquois County now. So this one just coming down here a couple of minutes ago. Ford and Iroquois County, severe thunderstorm warning with the potential for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Yeah, that storm definitely has strengthened quite a bit. strong little cell up there. So that is now in effect for Cissna Park, Milford to Wellington. All of those areas now with that storm showing signs of some intensification now on the north side of all of this. We haven't had much up there here. You guys had some activity earlier this afternoon. But eastern Iroquois County there, brand new severe thunderstorm warning just coming out for you guys. And I'm going to make sure we get this posted and sent out to all of our friends that hopefully follow us here on social media. So new severe thunderstorm warning here till 9:45 p.m. Iroquois County. You got Milford, you got Woodworth, Wellington, Stockton, Cissna Park, all under that. Buckley, technically, you're included in that. So is Paxton, yeah, maybe barely on the east side there. For all intents and purposes, you might as well include Rankin. I know you're technically not, but you're right there on the corner. Hoopston, you're not, but it's close. But definitely there, Wellington, Milford, Goodwine, and Cissna Park, all under that new severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, looks like the Champaign-Vermilion County warning is no longer in effect. So this one no longer in effect, but we'll have to start watching kind of this guy down here. So this will be coming into Brockton, Hume, Metcalf. We'll have to watch that storm down there. Borton, Redmond, Edgar, and eventually maybe Crispin. There was watch that whole little area as that storm kind of comes in there on the south side. You kind of see it regenerating on the kind of the southern ends of these. So definite strong storm here. That's got the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Ford and Iroquois County, mainly Iroquois. Nothing in Champaign-Vermilion County as far as a warning goes. Still the Douglas and Coles County warning that is in effect here until 9 p.m. Still seeing just a ton of lightning too on our storm here in Danville. I'm just going to pop up the camera view once again in Danville. And you can still see that lightning there. So again, here in just a few minutes, we're going to be taking a little bit of a break as we get ready for the 9 o'clock newscast. So bear with me here for just a second as kind of working on some stuff for our newscast. And what I'll do here is we'll just pull up the radar here for a few minutes and as I regroup things and get ready for the newscast here at 9 o'clock. So stand by here with us as we prepare to bring you that. We'll leave you here with the radar loop of our storms, and we'll have some more reports coming up here in just a moment. And if you have any reports, put them in the chat, please. Put them in the chat room. Love to hear any reports that you may have.
6, Route 1, and 150, where they all come together here on the south side of town. The rain is about to pick on up here as that storm approaches from the west. A lot of heavy rain and storms now. The core of that storm from Oakland to Brockton to Hume. We're going to drive west on 36 and drive right into the middle of it here. And that should set us up to have an update from the storm coming up here a little later on in the show. We'll be keeping eyes to the sky here. If you've got damage reports, let us know. You can let us know on Facebook, on email, and more. We're keeping the live updates as well on social media on the WCIA3 weather app. And, of course, here on TV, I'll have more reports coming up throughout the night. Kevin, back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks a lot, Jacob. And yeah, a lot of pictures like this coming into us here. This was actually in Thomasboro when it all started getting going at about 6:45 p.m. That's Jolene there in Thomasboro. You can see the trees snapped there, but a lot of it's now happening at nighttime. It's now dark, and I want to stress to people, power lines are down. Be careful, don't go out near those lines. You may not be able to see those out on the ground. So there's still a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect until 10 p.m. here tonight as well. That could get extended because these storms are still rocking and rolling. We're going to have more about this in our main forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Jess?
All right, Kevin, thanks so much. Other news tonight, U of I officials are strongly recommending masks are worn in classrooms. The memo went out last night. After a week of classes, the 7-day positivity rate at the university is nearing 15%, and nearly 20% of tests taken by undergrad students have been positive. The health center director says the increase in cases is similar to what's been seen as classes started in the past couple of years. But he says this year's data is a bit skewed because testing is not as widely available as it was back then. There's not a clear date for how long the mask recommendation will last, but it is expected to be in place for at least the next several weeks.
If in the next few weeks it seems like we are on a downward trajectory, and we are moving away from the most critical risk, then the recommendation may come back is that you can relax at this time. But for the next 3 to 4 weeks, it's very important that everybody has their guards up.
He says so far cases of COVID at the school have been predominantly asymptomatic. A group of parents rallied together against DCFS at the state capitol today. The social media group Family Forward Project has been hosting rallies at state capitals across the country. They expressed the emotions of having a child removed from their home, and they advocated for reforming the family court system. One activist emphasized how fixing the child welfare system should be a community effort.
We're all coming together and coming to terms that there's a lot of kids in foster care. And how do we help these foster kids? How do we help these kids in care? How do we help them age out gracefully and then heal from the scars that they have?
A spokesperson from DCFS responded to the rally, saying they've made measurable progress over the years by hiring more employees and increasing support for their private contractors. A 19-year-old from Indiana has been arrested after police say he talked to an 11-year-old online. Then police say Dylan Clark picked up the child in Georgetown to drive her back to his home in Franklin, Indiana. Vermilion County deputies contacted authorities there. That's when they say they found the girl in Clark's home. The teenager is in custody, waiting to be extradited to Illinois. The FBI is helping with the investigation. A man charged in a deadly Saturday morning shooting was in court today. This happened in a strip mall on North Neal Street in Champaign. Police say a crowd gathered, there was an argument, and shots were fired. 36-year-old Oscar Mallet was killed after being shot several times. 32-year-old Neil Meyer Anderson of Urbana is now facing murder charges. And we have an update on a deadly shooting in Danville. The Vermilion County coroner has released the name of the victim. Officers were called twice to a house near Cherry and North Hazel Streets early yesterday. The first call was for a loud party, the second for shots fired. Police found 31-year-old Jonathan Berry dead inside of the home. No one is in custody. NASA's moon rocket test run was almost set for liftoff, what paused the launch at the Kennedy Space Center. And you soon won't be able to get COVID-19 tests by mail. The last day you can get them mailed to you. All right, Kevin, still keeping an eye on things over in the tracking center.
Yeah, a lot of activity still ongoing. These storms, they just keep moving over a lot of the same areas here, bringing a lot of heavy rainfall. But right now, the worst of it into portions of Edgar County, right on the Douglas, Coles, and Edgar County line, where severe thunderstorm warning is still in effect. We'll have another report coming up about what to expect for the rest of tonight after the break.
Now, Central Illinois' most accurate forecast with meteorologist Kevin Lighty.
All right, I want to start off here. I want to show you guys a video sent in to us here of a transformer that was on fire here. This was in Potomac earlier this evening. Look at the bright flashes there of that transformer kind of arcing, and then obviously a little bit of a fire there. Looks like a tree or something there, a tree limb there on that line. Jacob Scott in Potomac snapping that video, sending it over to us, and obviously a scary sight. If you've ever heard that before, the arcing of all that, yeah, it's quite eerie to listen to. But that was in Potomac as storms rolled through there. Looks like, again, obviously a tree or something getting into that power line. Okay, so let's click things back over to the radar, and we're going to show you what's going on here. And we've got some different storms we're watching. We've had some activity up here into Iroquois County where we had a warning a little bit earlier. That is still in effect here until 9:45 p.m. with our storm here between Wellington and Hoopeston. But the strongest cell that we've got here right now is down into Edgar County and right there between Chrisman and Paris. And if Jacob is still there, I want to pull up his shot because I see a lot of lightning there on the storm, and it looks like you're coming into it right now. Jacob, what do you got?
Hey Kevin, I am in Metcalf right now, just heading to the west, and we're on US 36. I'm going to drive to the south here at about 3 miles and go towards the Redmond community, kind of catch south. A lot of the lightning to me seems to be more just on the left side of the highway. That's on the south side. Again, I'm looking westbound here, but still. Things right now, right ahead of us is where that heavy rain is here, maybe a minute. But we will be hitting that heavy rain and the wind here very shortly, and keeping a close eye on things. The lightning tonight, Kevin, has been very impressive. It's been a number of weeks, if not more, since we've had big-time summer storms like this. All that instability really helping to fuel things up here and give us a nice lightning show tonight. Of course, we're watching for some of those damaging wind gusts as well here across the region. I'm here in northern Edgar County, and we'll keep a close eye on these storms, let you know if we see anything else. Reporting near the west of Chrisman, US 36, I'm meteorologist Jacob Fithian. Send it back to you.
All right, that lightning, okay, that's what you're looking at now. See each one of these little white, okay, these little white lightning bolts? Look at how many there are. And that's what he was right in the middle of that. He said he was right there near Metcalf. Look at all the lightning strikes there. Metcalf, you can barely even see some of the town names because there's so many lightning strikes. There's Brockton. Just to get your bearings, there's Paris and there's Crispin there. But to the west there is where all of those lightning strikes are. That is where the severe thunderstorm warning is still in effect. I'll put the loop on this. You can kind of see the direction that it is going. Again, kind of some redevelopment. Notice how it kind of back-built back towards Charleston there and Mattoon. Those storms there starting to pack a little bit more of a punch. Let's see here. Something I've not shown a ton of are some of our weather cameras here, and I'll try to do that here real quick is just kind of plop those up. We're running low on time here, but we'll just pull up some of our Flooring America cameras. Not a lot there in the Mattoon area here right now. But we'll be watching them. We'll be watching our camera here into the Charleston area as well as storms begin to move in to those locations of DeColes County. But a lot of heavy rainfall, and it's really been kind of Danville that has seen the brunt of a lot of this here so far and into Vermilion County where we've had these storms out there. So still ongoing threat here over the next few hours. We're going to continue to keep you updated on what to expect with these storms because we're definitely not out of the woods here just yet, as warnings are still in effect for portions of Edgar County and also into Iroquois County here as well. And I don't think we're done for a few more hours. Jess, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Kevin, thank you so much. We'll have a look at your national news next. The Biden administration is pausing its program to send Americans free at-home COVID tests this week. They're blaming Congress for failing to pay for more shipments. You still have until this Friday to request up to 16 free tests. The government has given out more than 600 million tests to date. The Justice Department has finished its review of documents seized from former President Trump's Florida estate. It's identified a limited set of materials that potentially contain attorney-client privileged information. A federal judge in Florida had indicated she may appoint an independent party to review the documents. Today's filing could indicate that won't happen. And NASA's new moon rocket ran into a launch postponement today. Crews discovered fuel leaks during final liftoff preparations. The $4 billion unpiloted mission is a test run, traveling 1.3 million miles beyond the moon and then back down, splashing into the Pacific. It could be the end of an era for one tennis icon, where Serena Williams is making her final run in the sport. Tennis icon Serena Williams started her final run at the U.S. Open tonight. Earlier this month, she said she didn't like the word retirement, but indicated the Open would likely be her last tournament. Wendy Gillette reports from Queens.
Lola Neal traveled from Tennessee to New York to see Serena Williams play in what could be the final tournament of her career.
The old greats, Althea Gibson and Arthur Ashe himself, are just looking down today and just cheering her on.
She wore a dress emblazoned with an image of the tennis superstar to watch her first round match at the U.S. Open.
You're not allowed to bring a sign or a banner, so this is mine.
Over 27 years, Williams has earned 73 singles titles, 23 singles Grand Slams. The first here at Flushing Meadows in 1999 when she was 17. After several injuries and a near-death experience during childbirth, the now 40-year-old revealed in Vogue she could retire after this U.S. Open to focus on her family and business ventures.
I love playing, though. It's amazing, but you know, it's like, I can't do this forever.
This is Monday's program. It's all Serena on the cover with pictures of her winning her 6 U.S. Open singles titles. It says Serena Williams, a legacy of greatness.
I think she's going to go out with a bang. Hopefully she wins, so we're looking forward to it.
Helping carry the torch is 18-year-old Coco Gauff, who calls Serena her role model.
She didn't dominate one generation. She didn't dominate two generations. She dominated for 3+ generations, and I don't think anybody else did that.
Time magazine is honoring Williams with a cover, calling her the greatest. She says she's ready for the transition, adding she wants to explore if she can be great at motherhood as well. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, New York.
It's a new record in sports memorabilia. A baseball card sold for almost $13 million. We'll tell you who's on it. And going to the movies might be something to do this Labor Day weekend. Just how much your tickets could be discounted. A new survey from the Department of Energy says a number of factors, including the war in Ukraine, are causing fuel supplies to be lower than normal across the U.S. The agency says the situation is most noticeable in the Northeast, where diesel and heating oil inventories are more than 50% below the recent average. That's raising concerns a severe weather event could cause supply disruptions. A 1952 Mickey Mantle baseball card in nearly perfect condition sold for, wait for it, $12.6 million. That's a new record in sports memorabilia. The market has grown rapidly recently, especially during the pandemic. The sale brought in a hefty profit for the seller. They bought the card in 1991 for $50,000. And $3 movie tickets will become a reality again, but just for a day. It's happening this Saturday only. A group representing more than 3,000 U.S. movie theaters announced ticket prices will be discounted on more than 30,000 screens to no more than $3 a pop. Major chains, including AMC and Regal, are taking part. We'll have a final check of your severe weather after this.
Severe storms continue to move across Edgar County there, southern Iroquois County. We'll have more reports coming up here at 10.
All right, we'll see you at 10 on CBS. Have a good night.
A standstill in the case. She hopes someone will come forward with information.
Please come forward, whether you're calling law enforcement, whether you're calling Crime Stoppers or us. We don't care who you are. We just want to know that she's found and safe. But talk to her and tell her that she has to talk to law enforcement. This is not going to go away just by disappearing. And in the meantime, there's a lot of people that are being hurt because they don't know where you are and they don't know that you're okay.
She says it's critical that people only post accurate information on social media to get the word out that she's still missing. The police chief says they'll look into new leads. He said, quote, future investigative efforts and tactics must be a balance of a necessity for public safety and respect of an individual's right to privacy. Tonight, I talked to Ariano's husband, Leo. He says he's sad, but is still hopeful she'll be found. He told me his family isn't trying to force her to come home. They want to just make sure that she's safe. Reporting live in the newsroom, Marley Capper, WCIA3, your local news leader.
All right, Marley, thank you so much. Well, a 19-year-old from Indiana has been arrested after talking to an 11-year-old online. Police say Dylan Clark picked up the child in Georgetown to drive her back to his home in Franklin, Indiana. Vermilion County deputies then contacted authorities there. That's when they say they found the girl in Clark's home. The teenager is in custody waiting to be extradited to Illinois. The FBI is now investigating. A news update for you tonight about a deadly shooting in Danville. The county coroner has identified the victim. Officers were called to a home near Cherry and North Hazel Streets early Sunday morning twice. The first was for a loud party and the second was for a shots fired call. That was around 3:30. Now, police say they found 31-year-old Jonathan Berry's body inside. No arrests have been made. A news follow-up story for you. A Richland County man will spend 40 years in prison for killing 2 women. Michael Maddox was sentenced for the deaths of Deanne Richardson and Judy Jordan. In December of 2020, Maddox was driving in Olney. He went through an intersection and into the outdoor patio of Deuce's Wild Saloon. He hit and killed the 2 women who were standing on the patio. He was then arrested for DUI, not having a valid driver's license, and improper lane usage. Well, a group of parents rallied against DCFS at the state capitol today.
A social media group called Family Forward Project has been hosting rallies at state capitals across the country. They're advocating for reform of the family court system. One activist emphasized how fixing the child welfare system should be a community effort. A DCFS spokesperson responded to the rally, saying they've made measurable progress over the years by hiring more employees and increasing support for their private contractors. One alum left almost $4 million to their alma mater. Millikan University was presented with a $3.8 million check after an estate settlement. Mary Linder passed away in 2016. Before her death, she left the bulk of her estate to the school. In her honor, the university named the veranda overlooking the quad after her. People interested in running for mayor or a city council seat in Decatur, listen to this. Petitions will be available starting tomorrow. Those petitions need 85 signatures from registered voters. Council candidates must live within city limits for 1 year prior to the election.
Urbana high school football players took the field for the very first time of the season, but as a junior varsity team, administrators decided not to have a varsity team this year. Head coach Curtis Blandon says that's because they didn't have enough returning players. He says there are 2 seniors on the JV team now, and one of them is Hurts, but he says this is only the beginning of the season.
I prepared them from the beginning for a varsity season. That was my intent on coming on. And like I said, I let the administration make the decision they made, but my decision was to coach, and that's what we've been doing. They told them we play football. We don't play levels, we just play football.
He says they hope they never have to make that decision. There are a handful of sophomores and juniors on the team, but most of them are freshmen.
It was a successful season opener for Illini football. What head coach Brett Bielema is saying about one of his players' injuries.
And this.
Well, it's very nostalgic. It makes you think about what it was like in 1972.
The contents of this 50-year-old time capsule are unveiled. We're going to have a look inside.
I don't think you can pick it up on our mics right now, but it is so loud above us right now.
Coming down, here's a look on Neal Street right outside the studio. Storming here, storming in a lot of spots. We'll show you the latest coming up.
Now, Central Illinois' most accurate forecast with meteorologist Kevin Lighty.
Boy, that rain has just been coming down out there tonight, and we've had wind damage, trees, power lines, and a bunch of spots here. Let's take a look what we've got right now. We're just going to come into Champaign County, where it is really coming down now from Champaign, stretching back southeast of Seymour, and you can see down there just north of Tolono and the airport, where it's really coming down in Urbana, and then stretching east to St. Joe along I-74, where, boy, parts of Vermilion County out here just got hammered. Matter of fact, still under flash flood warnings because of over 3 inches of rain that fell in some areas there tonight. And as we kind of just show you, we'll put a little bit of a loop on this over the last 30 minutes, and you see how this storm has really just kind of gotten together here in Champaign County. Nothing severe there, but I got to tell you, down here into Coles County, they have just been getting pounded by heavy rainfall down here as well. In the Mattoon, Charleston area, I want to go to meteorologist Jacob Dickey. He is there in the storm tracker. Flooding an issue down there, isn't it, Jacob?
Yeah, Kevin, we are at Charleston and 4th Street here. There's cars that are stalled out and trying to drive through this. I can't stress it enough. Turn around, don't drown. Another car right in front of us here trying to sneak on through. This is on the main highway through town here, Highway 16, just to the east of downtown. The Hux is in front of me, and there's a vehicle stalled out in the middle here. We're not going through this. This is, from looking here, it's at least halfway over the wheels, and that car in front just stalled out right there in front of us, Kevin. Starting to become a bit of a dangerous situation with the flash flooding here in the Mattoon-Charleston area. Remember, turn around, don't drown. If you're in these areas with flash flood warning, stay off the roadways. The heavy rainfall here, several inches in just a short period of time, causing some big problems here now. So we're going to get contact with authorities and try and figure out if there's any other areas in town. But right now you're looking at it, stalled out vehicles now from flooding in Mattoon. Kevin, we're going to send it back to you, and we may have more updates for you later on in the show.
Yeah, just keep an eye on that there. He is right there. Don't drive through flooded roads. You're gonna wind up stalling your car. Even worse, okay? It has been coming down in the Mattoon-Charleston area there for quite some time. We'll go back down to the radar there again. It's going to show you where some of that heaviest stuff is. Flash flood warnings for Coles, Moultrie, and Shelby County. Jacob is just showing you all of that. But I also want to talk about some of the different damage reports we've received here. Take a look at all of these. Well, first off, there's a look at all of the flash flood warnings. But now I want to switch on the storm reports. Now we've had they're into Vermilion County. Look at all of these little round circles here, from Potomac to north of Oakwood, to Tilton, to Bismarck, to Catlin. Each one of those is a wind damage report, either trees down or power lines down. But I also want to make mention of this. This was a report from earlier as storms came through down near the Allenville area. That right there, from a trained spotter, southeast of Sullivan, was a 74-mile-per-hour wind gust. That is some big-time wind down there. So a couple of things that we're dealing with here tonight. We've got the heavy rainfall. It's now causing flooding. And we have still the potential for strong gusty winds. As Jacob just said there again, and enough we can't, if you can, I can pull his shot back up here again. I just want to show you once again what they're dealing with down there with the flooding aspect that is going on. There are cars that are stalled there in the middle of town in Mattoon because they have picked up several inches of rain here just within the past hour. We're going to keep you up to date on this, guys. We'll be out of the woods here in the next few hours, but still several more hours to go of rain across parts of central Illinois.
All right, Kevin, thanks. High school football kicked off strong over the weekend. How you can choose your favorite play of the week.
And one community is feeling nostalgic what they found in this time capsule put in the ground in the 70s.
We're getting a look inside of a time capsule that was dug up during our town Christmas last week.
That's right. It was first put in the ground in 1972, and community leaders decided to take a look inside. It's all part of their 150th anniversary. WCIA3's Marley Capper explains what it means to that community.
The community spirit in 1972 is excellent.
It's a blast from the past for the Christmas community, getting a look of what life was like in 1972.
We got it dug up, pulled it out of the ground, and had a lot of concerns about the condition of the inside.
Everything inside was damp, but they were able to let it dry. That included newspapers, personalized letters to community members, even an electric bill, totaling a whopping $11.
Right now, just about everything, with the exception of maybe a few items, we know who they go to, and there are heirs or family members, or even the people are still alive.
Laura Fiddler is the head of the Time Capsule Committee, and she says it was emotional reading the letters that were written for her and even seeing the magazine her late father left behind.
I had an envelope in there, so it was fun.
Carol Yaw is a part of planning the festivities, and she says seeing the time capsule was nostalgic.
I was here with my children for the centennial.
She says it will all be out for people to see during the festivities, and people who had letters written for them can come pick them up.
Nice visiting with you. Sincerely, Dorothy Rogers.
Reporting in Christmas, I'm Marley Capper, WCIA3, your local news leader.
And Fielder says they will be putting the time capsule back in the ground with a few items in it. For a list of events, you can check out our website at WCIA.com.
Brett, you get some sleep after this weekend?
Yeah, it was great. Hot, but that's all right. I think everyone had a pretty good time out at Memorial Stadium. We'll have more on the Illini coming up after a big weekend from that guy, Chase Brown.
From the official television station of Illini Sports, this is WCIA3 Sports and your Illini Nation.
First big loss of the season has come for Illinois football, and it's not in the win column. Running back Josh McCray won't play at Indiana Friday night in the Big Ten opener. Head coach Brett Bielema says the severity of his apparent knee injury undetermined, but he will not be available against the Hoosiers. McCray went down in the second half against the Cowboys, did not return. He was seen on the sidelines with an ice bag around his right knee.
I will say his spirits were very good yesterday, but we're waiting to gather all the information. His last 6 months in our program have probably been his best 6 months. He's changed his body. He is leaned up, was really good in his composure during camp. You know, if he's with us next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or 2 months from now, whatever it ends up being, I have confidence in what he'll be.
With McCray out, backup running backs Chase Hayden, Reggie Love III will be called upon more in bigger roles. It also means Chase Brown will also probably get more carries, the junior running back, the co-Big Ten Player of the Week for offense after a standout season opener, rushing for 151 yards and 2 TDs. He added another score through the air on the second play from scrimmage in the game, and all totaled up 167 all-purpose yards. Brown shares the Player of the Week honor with Northwestern quarterback Ryan Helinski. First Friday football fever of the fall is in the books, but before we officially look ahead to week 2, we need to crown a Play of the Week winner. Here are our first nominees. Number 1 goes to Muhammad Seymour's Valiant Walsh. The senior takes the opening kickoff of the second half at 92 yards, all the way for the touchdown as the Bulldogs win big over Morton. Number 2, another return, this time on a punt. The special teams getting a lot of love, and deservedly so. Mount Zion sophomore Braden Trimble makes several guys miss on his way for a 63-yard score. Mount Zion wins on the road at Limestone. And number 3, St. Teresa's Royce Harper, the middle linebacker, jumps the route, intercepts the pass, takes it 27 yards for the pick 6 in the Bulldogs' shutout win. To vote on Play of the Week, go to our social media pages. It's all up now. We'll announce the winner tomorrow. High school volleyball tonight has St. Thomas More making the trip to Normal U High for a non-conference match, and it's the Sabres up 11-5 early on the road against the Pioneers. Julia Johnson with the quick set for the point. Then off the service, the return goes long. Shannon Monahan there, ready to make the play, but STM falls in the first set by 4. Monahan back to serve, gets a fortunate bounce. Close second set has the Sabres up 19-16, but UI rallies, and they win it in 2, 26-24 in the second. Big league scoreboard tonight, Cardinals and Reds still going after a long rain delay. Cubs fall in 11 north of the border against the Jays.
All right, Brett, thanks. We'll be right back.
Live view from Mattoon from the storm tracker. Flooding, ongoing, roads closed down. Some cars are stalled out there, and the rain is still coming down. It's coming down here at the studio, too. We're not done. We'll go back to online, streaming live with more coverage after the newscast.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good night.